Hi, good evening, everybody. It is 5:33. We'll go ahead and start our, I apologize. Go ahead and start our roll call.
Mr. King,
Here.
Ms. Reese, Ms. Sebastian,
Here.
Mr. Elam,
Here.
Ms. Mansfield.
Here.
Do we have any additions to the agenda? Hearing none. Hearing of the public with regard to board items. I don't have it. Or agenda items. Moving on. All right, important dates to know from the district. And then we threw in a special board meeting. Well, April 13th.
Correct.
With regards to negotiations. It's super awesome to see all the musicals for high school, middle school throughout the month of April. May 1st is prom. Be exciting. We didn't have one of those last year, so it's nice we get to have one this year. And then it goes into the 4th of May when we do our next work session. Graduation on the 29th at Hobart Arena. I know last day I spoke that it was each student could have six members, 6 tickets.
Just a reminder, that's kind of based on the capacity of the arena and the percentage of what we're allowed to give as far as tickets, which is similar to what we had to experience this school year with athletics and the gymnasium capacity.
Okay.
And that number came from the health department.
Hopefully between.
Get to be there, or we?
That's a good question. I would assume so, but I'll have to answer that.
Mr. Slope is, I actually asked him, so I knew for counting purposes, since I'm a senior, he was gonna check on that and the teachers to see.
I was gonna say, I don't particularly enjoy graduation speeches, so if they don't want me to give one up, okay. This is
I
what
think
that.
he was checking to see.
It's not a strength unless somebody wants to write one for me. Okay, we'll let you guys know.
Yeah, I do know he was thinking.
We got plenty of time. I'm sure he's been working on it, and probably a good chance that whatever we decide will be changed in the following week to change back to something different. What we finally end up with based on all the orders for the health department. All right, June 1st, we get to come celebrate last day for staff to be here with the work session at 5:30. Excellent. All right. Anybody see anything that we're missing or that we need to add?
Just to update quickly, the 2 additional days were for additional days missed because of inclement weather. So the first day will essentially be used for professional development opportunities throughout the district. The second day will serve essentially as the teacher end of school year workday.
Okay.
And allow them to do end of year wrap-up grades, those kind of things.
All right. We doing this?
Yeah, I just need to approve the resolution to participate.
Okay.
But not actually purchase the bus yet. So it's just the standard thing for every year when a district wants to, EPC goes out and gets the bids, and then we just pass this resolution saying that we want to partake in that. And then next Monday, I'll have the correct bid proposal.
Then we can purchase it.
Right. We've had 2 accidents in March. One was totaled, it was one of our older ones. The other one was one of our newer ones, and it's currently getting worked up on at Cardinal Bus. So we're down those 2 buses, and we're at that time only had 3 spares. So we're down to 1 spare. So we need to go ahead and get another bus. And the delivery time is between 120 and 150 days.
Yeah, I kind of understood that we needed to move forward with this one just because of that long lag time, so that we can have it here in place prior to the beginning of next school year for sure.
And you never understand or know how long it's going to take for Cardinal to fix it. But just for a point of reference, last year, when we unfortunately had our bus accident, we didn't receive the fixed bus back to us for a year.
Oh, wow.
And that was the one that had the
Oh, yeah, that was
The
the
brand new
actual-
one,
the brand new
cost.
So it took a year to do all the work. I'm not saying it's going to take that long. We're just kind of at their mercy to when it gets fixed.
Yeah.
This one had a busted rear axle, so there was some pretty significant damage done to the body.
So one is being fixed and one is not.
One is done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the one where they come out and they inspect it. It wasn't going to pass inspection.
It had 300-some thousand miles on it, and it knocked it off the frame like 3 inches. So it cost more than what it was worth. Fix.
Will we get any grants this year, Brennan, like we have in the past for new buses?
Well, there is currently proposed in the biennial budget, the school bus grant, but that's based off of your fleet and everything. Most likely we will be, but it's not 100%. So if the budget's passed with that included, there's a good chance that the district will be up for it again next year. But it wouldn't be able to cover this cost because it's
Outside of that.
you have to retire one, but one as a spare that you're replacing.
Okay,
It's part of the grant agreement.
I assume we still have a couple of older buses that we.
Yeah, as far as I know, we have one spare right now.
Okay.
So if we have another bus go down, mechanical or whatever, then we don't have any spares.
And whatever insurance money we get, we put toward it.
Yeah, like we've already got the 2 insurance checks. I got them today. So the ones that repair the bus and the other one was for the salvage value that will we'll go into the general fund, but when we go to purchase this bus, I'll put that dollar amount in the general fund, so it'll be a wash zero. And the rest would go in PI.
I think the biggest key is that the 3 accidents that we spoke of, the 2 most recent, just none of them have been at our driver's fault.
Correct. All 3 have them.
All 3 were not our fault.
Yeah.
But as a note, is our transportation program, our training program, and our bus drivers have had an exceptional skill when it has come to these incidences, that we've had no significant injuries or students hurt of significant magnitude. There's a couple, I think, that had some bumps and bruises, but based on the actions taken by our bus drivers is why that's the case.
Yeah.
So truly appreciate their skill and their level of detail.
Yeah, unfortunately, the 3 accidents were the cause of a ran red light, ran stop sign, and gone across center line. So in particular, the last one, or excuse me, two accidents ago, we were pretty fortunate that bus didn't hit. So that was well done by the driver to escape across the center line, T-bone, and not get knocked over on the side. So thankfully, like you said, nobody was hurt either.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely thanks to Gail and her program that she does, but also thanks to our bus drivers. All right, so at this point, will we accept a motion to approve to participate in the EPC school bus purchasing program? Thank you, Lida.
I'll second.
Thank you, Julie, for the second. Discussion? Further discussion? All right. Brian, could you call the vote?
Ms. Mansfield,
Yes.
Ms. Reese,
Yes.
Ms. Sebastian,
Yes.
Mr. Elo,
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes. All right, turn it over to Mr. Perks for items requesting action.
Number 6 is letter A, the approval of certified administrator. On the agenda this evening for consideration is the potential hiring of our new middle school principal who's in attendance this evening, Mr. Matt Triplett. Also on the agenda is a fairly standard consulting contract. We typically allow 10 transition days for those people to come new to the district and kind of get acclimated to the beginning of the year processes with scheduling and making sure that, new students are getting enrolled, give them some time to work with their administrative assistant a little bit, an opportunity for staff members to pop in if they're free over the summer to say hello and kind of do an introduction, those kind of things. Real excited to have Mr. Triplett join Bethel Local Schools pending approval. He brings to us 7 years of administration experience. The last 4, he is currently serving as grades 7 through 12 principal at Bradford Local Schools. He also had some administrative experience at Graham and also Urbana. And as a classroom teacher, he taught at Franklin Monroe, served as their FFA advisor, and was also the athletic director. Mr. Triplett and his wife and 4 children reside in New Carlisle, and he is also a graduate of Tecumseh. So we'd also like to thank some of the staff that served on our interview committee. We've made that a point of emphasis the last couple of years to try to really get a lot of good input from the folks that work in the building in the district. Mr. Barrett Swope, Mrs. Mary Roll, Mr. Damon Smith, Mrs. Beth Shout, Mrs. Alicia Gross, Mrs. Barb Seaback, Mrs. Molly Hahn, and Mr. Jay Borchers, our curriculum director through the county, also served. And then I also served on both interviews. So we're really excited to have Mr. Triplett join our district. We feel very fortunate to have someone with his experience and knowledge joining our district who can kind of hit the ground running and not necessarily have to learn how to do the job, but just has to learn how we do things kind of at Bethel. And he can also interject and bring some of his fresh ideas to keep us up to speed and keep improving. So I'd like to welcome him to our district.
Thank you. I thank you guys for the opportunity. I look forward to working with each of you. Thank you.
That was it.
What's that? Oh, and then we have excuse me, letter C. Letter C is the approval of a change in educational degree status. So we are moving Mr. Neil Norman, who serves as our one of our middle school social studies teachers, from bachelor's to bachelor's 150, step 9. You can see his salary is attached. Then we were also accepting several resignations and then 1 resignation for the purpose of retirement. We'd like to thank Mr. Corey Steinke for his service as head girls basketball coach for the last 6 years. Also, Mrs. Melissa Rhodes, who served as a second shift custodian. She was one of the folks that came over with us when we brought custodial services back in the district. She had worked previously here at Bethel through the Aetna company. And then finally, for the purpose of retirement, Mrs. Mara Lance, high school guidance counselor. Mrs. Lance started at Bethel in 1997. So I'm not a math major, but this year would mark her, at the end of the year, her 24th year in the district as a guidance counselor. And I believe previous to that, she served up in Antwerp, if I remember correctly from conversations. And so we'd like to thank her for her time, dedication and service, not only to Bethel Local Schools, but most importantly to our students and our staff. It's hard to replace somebody with that many years of experience in the guidance department role. It's going to be big shoes to fill. And we wish her much joy and happiness and all good times during her retirement. And I look forward to getting there one day myself. So,
We all. Except for Daniel. He's there. All right. Motion to place the items for superintendent's report on the consent calendar. I'll second. Thank you, Lori, for the motion, and thank you, Mr. Elam, for the second. Discussion. Frank, you called the roll, please.
Ms. Sebastian,
Yes.
Mr. Elam,
Yes.
Ms. Reese,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Ms. Mansfield.
Yes.
Next is a motion to adopt the consent calendar items from the treasurer's, or from the superintendent's report. Can't read.
Hold on,
Thank you, Lida.
I'll second.
Thank you, Julie, for the second discussion. So first and foremost, I think it's awesome, based on your resume and reports from previous schools that you've been at, that you're an outstanding candidate to help lead and serve our community and our students and staff. So just want to welcome you aboard, Mr. Triplett, as well as, it's awesome that we're able to have a great transition with those 10 days with Mr. Ziegler. And passing on a lot of those programs and items that he has. And, as he is just, retiree hiring, he's trying to roll out, he's happy, right? So he's not leaving because he doesn't like the school, right? He's leaving because, hey, I've hit all the years.
47 of them.
47 years. So there's a lot to be garnished from some time with him as well, I'm sure. Thank Mr. Ziegler for his continued commitment to our students, staff, and the community, as long as he's served here in Bethel in several different roles and at different times. He has been a ray of sunshine, I think, as he came back in for the middle school for us, and has worked out very well. And obviously, couldn't forget Miss Lance. And her 24 years of service to our students, staff, and community. She had a direct impact on students on a regular daily basis as she did her job as a guidance counselor and continues today in that role. A lot of students make choices based on what she was able to guide them to. So she has a long-standing history and 24 years worth of graduates here that she has impacted, which is very significant and very unique. So I welcome her on retirement as I welcome Mr. Triplett into the school system.
I'd like to welcome Mr. Triplett also, and I worked with Ms. Lance for 19 years, and Mr. Ziegler a few less than that, but can't overstate their professionalism and the desire to help students. And sad to see both of them.
Welcome, Mr. Triplett, for sure.
Thank you.
It's great to have you on board. I'm very affectionate for Mr. Ziegler. He's done great things for my son as a middle schooler who's 5th and 8th grader, so really hard to see him go. But I'm super excited about what you're going to bring to the table. I actually just emailed Mrs. Lance today about some things with my son with College Credit Plus, so I'll be sad to see her go too. She had an impact on my son as well. It's lots of changes afoot, so it's an exciting time for you to be joining us. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Just for informational purposes, next steps will include, we'll post that position internally for 5 days to see if we have any interest. And then if we do not, then it'll go external. We'll start a process and form a committee and a team and all that kind of stuff moving forward. So just so that people are curious as what the next steps are.
Sure.
Any other discussion? Renee, could you call the vote?
Ms. Mansfield,
Yes.
Ms. Reese,
Yes.
Ms. Sebastian,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Ms. Reed.
Yes.
So, Mr. Triplett be back for going to the community?
We can definitely set it up.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
so people get to know him, see him.
Yeah, we have his transition days will be June 21st through 25th, and then July 19th through 23rd, which gives him some time at the back end, front end of summer, back end of summer, to kind of prepare for the start of the school year. I know he's also already worked with Mr. Ziegler on some things, little things here and there, like having a welcome letter in to the handbook from the new principal and those kind of things. So, and we'll definitely have something available. So, you are free to stay, or you can sneak out if you like.
All right. Sorry if I shake everyone's hand real quick. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, congratulations.
And we're all these former students.
I'm gonna say.
Congratulations.
Welcome.
All right, as we continue to move forward down the agenda items, these are gonna be items, for the treasurer at the next meeting, is that right?
Yeah.
All right, Brendan.
So
Take it away.
I'll have, meeting minutes for the 2nd, the 8th, the 22nd, the 30th. Then we had 2 on the 30th, and then I may have the one for yesterday on there. So that would be an addition. I also have tonight in the contracts and executive, the mechanic contract for the next 2 years proposed. The bills for March. The financial report. One thing to point out so far, we did get our second half payment for taxes, and it's with the delinquencies and everything, we came in a little bit above projection related to property taxes. So things are looking pretty good right now. And then the TIF came in a little bit above as well. So but just keep in mind that once Carriage Trails completes, that will plateau. So we will see gradually, as well as income tax won't grow as much because the bases are, more and more people are moving in unless there's another development that comes. Yeah.
When were you projecting that, the tip would plateau?
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah. Because there's a lag related to taxes. So if it's not done by a certain time when they do appraisals and updates, it's not done till the next year. Okay. So it'll be there's a little lag. Amended appropriations for the month. 500 funds, 507, we just got allocated ESSER 2. Keep in mind that the district plans to use this to pay for the option C online. Because that was one of the requirements is you had to spend it related to COVID related issues, and option of online C was one. The rest of the 500s are related to additional money allocated to us by the state through remaining grant money. 300 funds related to the baseball sub-account submitting their budget, as well as additional needs for baseball and softball. Capital projects is related to the tree marking or marking of the trees to be removed related to the project, which was one engineering. And 300, that's related to, we got a grant for $3,000 related to COVID. I believe is going to be used to buy a camera for like musicals and stuff like that. And then Miss Marie Lindsay is spending some unspent grant funds that she got last year. This year, since we had COVID, she didn't have to get some off.
Camera was actually used to live stream our recent choir concerts, which was nice.
This was COVID related?
The grant was filled out by, I believe, Mr. Swope. And the need was that the listed on there was to be able to do virtual and have it. So that's what it was used for. Review of donations as presented since last board meeting. Scholarship amounts. These are the recommended scholarship amounts for the board to look at and approve for next week to be awarded this year. Remember a couple years ago, I got the resolution passed that you guys can help determine the amounts for the Clending scholarship. We have a contact, so I reach out to them every year to see how much they want to award. And that's the amount they wanted towards this year. But talking with Mara, Molly, and Mr. Swope, these are the amounts that we decided for this year. Next two are the second resolutions to proceed with the new tax levies related to the operating and the PI levy. So that's the second resolution. And then the last one is the farm lease for 2021.
I had a quick question. They came and marked the trees that need to be removed for the construction project. Are we picking the company that's gonna come remove those, or is that gonna be part of their?
But right now, Mr. Bird is kind of in the process of getting some quotes from 3 or 4 different places in the area to do it. If you have any suggestions on who else to kind of take a look at, we'd be open, so.
Yeah, I know. I was just wondering if whoever we select, we get their opinion at the old soccer fields. The ones
Palmer?
at the Palmer Road field.
Yeah.
Because there seems to be, it looks like a lot of, all those trees run right around that
Yeah.
property.
I know what you're talking about.
Just to make sure we're safe.
Yeah, a lot of the trees that were, a lot of it's not gonna be as cutting down as much as people think. It's really gonna be a lot of removal of dead stuff. It's just kind of brush and debris. And maybe a lot of that similar stuff on Palmer, I don't know. But we could definitely have to take a look at that and see what that would do to clean it up a little bit.
Right. I think
That is the school's property to kind of maintain.
Yeah, I was just concerned, like, it looked like there's a lot of dead ash trees, maybe, or just a
Okay.
few ash
Yeah.
trees there. And worrying about the falling
Yeah.
over there.
Well, certainly can have them take a look at it and at least give us an idea ballpark wise of what the figure would be.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, that Susie brought up the tree service, it didn't click in my mind to say
Yeah.
something about that, so apologize for doing that here.
No, it's fine.
I'm
We
sure
had a
it's
site
all
visit.
over it.
We had a site visit last week and they were down to kind of, the engineer to show us from the charts they provided to us, the blueprints of what needed to come out. So, I mean, they're flagged out there. It clearly indicates kind of a pathway, which will be the walkway to the stadium.
Okay.
That's essentially what it is.
I was wondering, there's some flags in the tree, and I was trying to figure out what that was.
Yeah, that's kind of the pathway to go through. So we talked about having a pathway walking up with some lights and kind of walking through the woods a little bit. Well, you gotta have a pathway to get through the woods. So that'll be just, and then there'll also be some trees to the far north end that'll need to come down for where the building's gonna kind of be at.
Okay.
So,
Nice. Yeah, I was wondering.
and we have to avoid the Indiana bats. So the trees have to be down by the end of this month.
Yeah, that was my decision too, the migration.
We don't have to have them cleared, but we just have to have them on the ground flat.
Okay.
We can get them out later on. Not necessarily a rush to get them out, but we definitely want to get them out before bat season.
Yes.
What are you shaking your head for?
I did note when we were over there taking a look at any of that stuff in the barn that would be useful or not, which 99% was not. I was able to actually see as Governor Miller was presenting the difference in terrain and elevation, the significant change in elevation for where they did the dig out for here. It was almost like a 4-foot drop. It's pretty significant. If you go over by the farmhouse and look over, it's just like humongous.
Yeah.
So I was like, holy cow.
Speaking of, also, I've mentioned to the board members in an email, but just to kind of let folks know, credit to Mr. Bird as well. He was able to reach out to a couple of barn salvage companies that do that throughout the state. And we were able to get a monetary offer for removal of the bank barn, which they'll probably end up repurposing it and reselling it. But we were able to get an offer of $15,000 for that bank barn, which I think is a good number, considering we weren't even thinking about that in the first place. Because there is some pretty neat wood that can be reutilized for the internal.
I think so.
Yeah.
Whenever they're looking at it, there's a lot of very large beams.
And just another quick update as we're on that topic. I know initially the fire department wasn't real interested in potentially doing a slow burn of the property. But I think they've changed their minds and now they're in the permit process. So there's Also for the training, but when they're done, being willing to dispose of the property for us as well as a training exercise.
Excellent.
So it was a no-go and now they're interested in it, which is good. So it's good.
Yeah, definitely.
We did get back the hazardous materials report, and we're going to have to do some asbestos removal of windows. I don't know what that's all going to entail, but we did kind of think there would be some of that on the house at some point or
Yeah.
located somewhere. So we're kind of still in the process of figuring out what that's going to entail before we can do anything to remove the house.
Might be less expensive than removing the whole house.
I was worried about like the siding or,
Yeah.
and we didn't have any issues with that. It was just the windows.
Debate that some time coming, right, between the two,
Yeah.
taking out the whole house versus just windows.
Yeah.
Seeing what's worth.
Yeah.
Thanks for finding the farm.
Yeah, that was Todd. I mean, credit to him. I never even would have thought of it. So it's pretty creative. I didn't even think about there's companies out there that do those kind of things, but I get it. They become nice little places for people to have weddings. That seems to be a popular thing.
I don't know how many people noticed, but that barn was actually moved from Brant across the fields. Up there.
Well, I wondered
So it's
because
older than it.
you see that it sits on an elevated slab of concrete, which is not original. So,
Yeah.
you know, I was like, how'd they get that under there? Which now makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Interesting. I bet that was quite the endeavor to get it over there.
Across the fields, yeah.
Yeah.
No road, so
Yeah.
across the fields.
It wasn't on 40? Or close to 40? Or
Uh,
Ross Road?
Yeah, somewhere.
Pretty amazing.
I was at a wedding 2 weekends ago in a greenhouse.
Greenhouse, huh?
So
That's a new one.
Okay, thank you for all those updates. Anybody have any questions, Mr. Hattery, with regards to the items for the next meeting?
yes, concerning the scholarship amounts. I know that one of them is quite a bit less than what it was in the past.
Yeah, it's the flick one.
Yes.
Yeah, well, when I got here, you know, we were earning a good interest rate. And then COVID happened and there's nothing, we aren't earning anything right now. So I broke it out because if we awarded the normal amount next year, you might not be able to award anything. So that's the only downside right now, but yeah, because you have to maintain the original, it's a non-expendable trust right now. So you have to maintain at least what was the original donation. So I didn't want us to go back next year where we're only awarding $10 or something, you know, so it's
What
not.
has happened with some of the other.
I know, that's why I got the resolution passed, so. But yeah, that's something that, you know, stuff starts to get back to normal, we might start earning more interest. Yeah, the interest went from 2.4 to 0.2, so. My first year I was here, we earned about 150,000 total interest earnings, just about. This last year we earned $12,000.
Thanks.
Yeah.
First, I just want to say thank you, Brennan, for getting our levies ready to go. I know it's really early to have those processed, but that will be a huge relief this summer when whoever our treasurer becomes, they don't have to worry about them. The second thing I want to say is I want to thank Kurt Elliott for all his work on our buses the last few years. I don't know how long we've had a contract with his company, but I know it's been really beneficial to both him and our district. So I want to say thank you to him. And lastly, I want to thank Robert Benham for farming the ground and being patient as we've worked through what he's going to farm this year. So I just really appreciate all of those people and their services they provide us.
Anything else on treasure? All right, moving on to superintendent's item for the board meeting. Step up for a second.
Letters A and B are, will be on the agenda for consideration at Monday's meeting for contract potentials for administration. Letter C Would also be contract recommendations for classified administrators. All of those folks would be on the same number of years that they're currently on, be no extensions. I've also indicated to them that dollar amounts for contracts will remain the same until negotiations are over. What's the letter D, Brian? That's an executive file.
That would be the 1 year for teachers.
Most teachers,
Okay, gotcha.
non-tenured.
Yes, gotcha. Okay, I have that list here as well. So on the agenda, I think should be attached will be the names of all the teaching staff that are being recommended for 1 year contracts. And then letter E would be those folks that have met the requirements as far as being recommended for continuing contracts. And then letter F would be a continuance from last year. We tried to offer the opportunity for additional staff members, both classified and certified, to work in the summer to help with general custodial light maintenance type work. Grateful for the folks that have expressed interest. I think we had 10 individuals on the list. And now we're currently in the process of, which we may have on, could be in addition to the agenda. I'm not quite sure where we're at with that, but we've also looked at expanding some of our student help and looking at adding 2 students to our technology for summer help to get Chromebooks ready and cleaning up the devices and those kind of things. I know we had 4 students that expressed interest. The tech department kind of went through a formal interview process, which I think is good for those kids to kind of sit in that kind of setting and go through an interview experience. I told them kind of going in, we would look at 2. So I think they're kind of in the selection process of but it was good to see 4 students express interest. And once I get to kind of final information on that, I'll let you guys know kind of which direction, and you may see those names appear as well for some student additional help. We are also having a couple of those kids return this summer to help with outside type stuff that we had last year, taking care of some mowing and, outside maintenance and weeds and those kind of things. So it is good to get some of the classified and certified and also have some opportunities for students to participate in summer work as well. And I think we had an hourly rate for the students established already, didn't we, Brandon? We had an hourly rate established for the students,
Yeah, it's
minimum wages.
yeah, and then summer help would be $12.
Yeah, the $12 that was established. So a lot of those folks that were on the summer list are returning from last year, which is good to see. Oh, letter G would be review of supplemental positions. So it's getting some of our, can you open that attachment, Brian?
She has an executive, so.
It's kind of hard for me to tell who that's on it. Is that the coaches?
Yeah,
Yes.
for fall and winter
Okay.
and non-supplement and
All right.
non-sport.
So we have fall, winter, and non-supplemental. I indicated to Mr. Smith that this would be the head coaches and that he needs to have all the assistants in place for the next board meeting for May because we need to have everybody in place and hired for summer workouts. Just to ensure that everybody that starts working out in the summer, they have the proper people validation and all those kind of things. And then letter H is review of leave of absence. We have 3 folks that are on there that are essentially taking some leave. 2 of the 3 I know for sure are FMLA leave. I'm believing the third is as well. So they're all family medical leave. Letter I is our regular approval of substitute teachers for the Miami County Educational Service Center. Yeah. That's what we have to do on a regular basis every time that list changes. Letter J is the approval of letter of intent for the internet contract. This would be a change from Medeka to WOCO. We did go out to bid for some of the work that we're doing this summer. Wilco actually came back a little cheaper for internet costs. And so this will kind of be the transition from Medeka for internet services to Wilco. Wilco is located out of Pickwood. And then letter K is something that the board will want to take a look at. We do have the attached student parent handbooks for the elementary, middle school, high school as well. So I guess between now and the meeting next week, if you have any questions for any of the principals in regards to maybe some of the potential changes, feel free to either bring those to those meetings, or you can, shoot off an email kind of asking ahead of time, whatever you prefer. And then letter L would be first reading for special updates from Neola. That was also attached in there as well.
It's not.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not in there?
No, sir.
I'll get that on there tomorrow.
Well, can we pull that off then and have the first reading on the meeting on Monday night? And we can add it tomorrow?
Mhm.
All right, sorry about that. Need to add that attachment. So how do we do about taking that off for tonight? Because we don't consider that a first reading.
No, because we didn't vote on it. So
Okay.
Just setting it up for.
Yeah, you can still leave it as a first reading.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Good deal. So I apologize for that. We'll have, I'll have Bella send it out to the board tomorrow so you guys can take a look at it. And then we'll review it in detail on the meeting next week. That'll be the first reading. And then our following work session, the following month, we'll do the second reading. And if we have any questions or any changes, get on that.
I thought so, same things.
No, that's fine. I should have checked
I was just reading.
I'm still old school a little bit with the hard
Part on the
copies.
list.
So.
Busy week.
All right. Range going down. Yeah. Any questions for the superintendent?
On the handbooks, I am appreciative. I see Matt Tricklett's name has already been added to the
Yeah.
middle school handbook. When we approve them, or when they're eligible to be approved, how are we going to handle Mrs. Lance? Because she's in both the middle school and the high school yearbook. So I mean, can we approve them and permit the appropriate principal to update those once that hire has been made?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I always hate that when we have somebody leaving and coming in. And then
Yeah.
it's wrong.
I'll have to check with both middle school and high school to kind of see when they typically have to send it out to print
Okay.
to get it back in time. And I think if the dates are okay, we can be able to make that switch.
Okay.
So let me check first to see when they typically get that sent out to print. And then I can send you guys an email to let you know if we can make that change as far as the name.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine approving them. I just would like that
Yeah.
updated with.
Absolutely. Understood.
Can you scroll back up there? So I just meant for that. Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Can I ask about the internet?
Sure.
Especially, is that a replacement for the same company? or-
No, I think you walked out. I indicated it was a change from Medeka to Wilco.
So that's not.
I would say Medeka. I'm sorry. Meta. It used to be called Medeka.
Yeah, Meta, that's what I was.
Yeah,
wondering.
yeah. We went out to bid and Wilco came in cheaper
So we're done with.
for the internet
For
services.
the internet service.
That'd be part of the upgrade. Wilco also received our E-rate 470 bid that we had to go out to do the infrastructure update with the wiring.
Okay, all right, thank you, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
Do they require it for years? Because what if they're terrible? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you change providers and then been like,
Sure.
oh, this is awful.
Sure. Well, I can tell you that our last one was a 5-year with Wilco.
Yikes.
Wasn't it, Brennan?
Yeah,
If you would like to look at, I could potentially
I'm
talk
not
to you
enough.
about.
they usually do 3 is the
I don't
minimum.
care. I just.
It's through Spectrum.
You know, I trust you guys.
Yeah.
It is what it is, but
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. We have that issue right now with another service in our district that we're waiting for that 5-year contract to expire.
okay, and we have those come up and you're just waiting
Yeah.
and waiting. How long do we have to see this thing? It's all-
Yeah, I would not recommend, when it comes to purchase services, 5-year contracts for those kind of things.
Sure.
So we have reduced it.
We hope for the best, right?
Yeah.
All right, any other questions? With regards to the agenda for Monday? Okay,
I was again encouraged to see the number of teachers that were on the summer employment.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. We tried to, I don't think anybody really likes cleaning toilets and lockers and that kind of stuff, but we tried to make it a good environment for them last year and work with their schedules a little bit, and we're flexible as far as days worked and hours worked, and
Are you cooking again?
I will cook out again for them. So I think hopefully they had a pretty good rapport as a group. I think they got along and got to know each other a little bit better. And
We got to know the custodian staff too.
yeah, absolutely. It was promising to see a lot of faces return. You just, for the first year you do it, you don't know how it's going to go over. I think to have people come back says, hey, it wasn't so bad after all. I kind of liked it. They take a lot of pride when they're cleaning the facilities in which they work in. They seem to, classrooms get a little more attention to detail that they're teaching in and those kind of things. So it was good. And I think hopefully our buildings, when we came back last year, there were some things clean wise that hadn't been done in a while. And I think it looked a lot different than it had with the previous outsourced party that you guys saw some of the videos of us cleaning the locker room.
Camaraderie seemed fun.
What's that?
The camaraderie seemed.
It was
fun.
good. They were a good group. They were fun, and it was a good summer. It was nice to have people around. It gets pretty quiet around here in summer. And it's also good to be able to offer the opportunities for the kids. I think, the summer workers last year helped, and I think hopefully having some opportunities for them to work with technology this year will be a good experience. I know one of the young kids that applied is involved in computer programming and systems and that kind of stuff at the Career Tech Center. So it's something that could potentially be, if he works out for him, it could be a good resume builder for them too. That they got some summer work experience at Bethel. So not saying they're getting the job, but it was good to see the people with that kind of experience be interested in it. And then also the interview experience, just to go through that process.
Since the handbooks were included, it would be nice to know how things are shaping up this year for the valedictorian and salutatorian.
Okay.
Since we kind of have those two programs kind of running parallel,
Yeah.
how that's working out.
Okay.
Did we impact any students? Did we help students? In that feedback from Mr. Swoll?
Would you like to have him to give a short little update on that at the meeting this week?
I don't know that, or just a message,
Okay.
email.
Yeah. I can.
Or you provide it from.
Yeah, I can. What I can do is have them kind of send an email to the board and have them CC me on it. See if there's been any significant changes or.
Yeah, I know we're not at the timeline, I think, yet from to pull those stats, but what is it looking like, I guess?
Yeah.
He wants us to wait till then.
Yeah, I'll get an update from you.
Okay.
Yeah, and Justin, I had two more things. One was, I just would like to thank you for hiring or considering hiring student workers. I just think that's a huge thing for the district to offer our students work experience. And I don't know, maybe I misheard, but I heard we had 3 students actually of the many who applied for the technology position actually come from the CTC, which I think
Okay.
is a win-win for both of us.
Yeah, I
may have misheard information.
No, you probably were correct. I had a chance to briefly look at stuff today, so.
But that's exciting to me
That's
to have
good.
our own students go to the CTC and then potentially, I just think
Yeah.
that's exciting. And good resume building. And the second thing, I just wanted to double check, this is my forgetfulness, but how does a teacher get a continuing contract? What's the process involved in that? Because I know we have a couple of people who apply.
Sure. Well, legislation has changed, and so we're kind of in that process now of changing our negotiated agreement. So they currently have to have taught for 7 years. And how does that go? How many years into the thought?
Is it 4?
Continuing. So 7 years teaching.
Right, I thought it was 4. Was it 4?
4 years at Bethel.
4 years
Three.
ago. Three.
Old ones.
Yeah, 3 and 5. So 7 years teaching, 3 years at Bethel.
4 years ago.
And then they go through the traditional evaluation process. And they have to obviously receive good remarks from their supervisor that evaluates them. And then if they're a new staff member, they have to go through potentially the resident educator program and those kind of things.
Master's
Master's degree.
Master's degree.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, good point.
Thank
The
you.
change in the statute is an increase. So they increased it so that there was, it used to be 5 years and then they increased it to 7 years.
So they're both equal with classified and certified now.
Correct. Yeah, there were some differences between the two utility groups as far as length of service to get a continuing and how they have it on the same. Yep, same.
Yeah. At one time, we had visited, we do the 1 year limited contracts for the certified staff. Is one the only one we can do, or is it like a 2 year?
Based on your current school board policy, that's how it's set up. This is the first district that I've worked in that did not offer multi-year contracts. So some of the districts where you start off with a 1, like for example, my last district was like a 1, 1, 2. No, excuse me, it was
1, 2.
1, 1, 1, 2, 2, and then that was your 7 years to be eligible. So there's some districts that do a 1, 1, 2, 3. I mean, just depends on the level of comfortability in the district. So I guess it's based on what your guys' experience has been and what you'd prefer to see the contract length be.
Any thoughts?
You have options with it.
I mean, I think generally a teacher knows after 3 years if they're comfortable in the district and the culture and students that they're teaching and their content area. And so from their perspective, I think they're ready for a 2-year contract after 3 years. I think we know the same about that.
Yeah.
After 3 years. I think that's an excellent point to have a comfort level to start considering longer 2-year. Amy, what do you think?
I agree.
After the 3-year mark, you're really, everybody knows everybody pretty well.
1, 1, 1, 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One, one, two, two.
Something to take a look at. I
Yeah.
mean, if it's a decision that you guys want to have and you want to have discussions with the collective bargaining unit, you could potentially have that discussion now, or you could wait until we are finalized and do an MOU, or there's some things to take a look at if you want to have more discussions on it. Tracy's here, so maybe she can share some thoughts on it. What is your thoughts on potentially looking at multi-year contracts for staff?
In the past, when it was brought up, we weren't at the table to do it. I really think, if we were, have that one-on-one conversation, we would be open to doing something like that.
Not to put you on the spot, but just to get your thoughts.
Yeah, I would assume that we would establish the criteria once you hit the 111.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing, was the criteria,
How do
what,
you not get the 2?
yeah, that was
Yeah.
the biggest issue
Sure.
in the past.
Okay. Well,
And
those
if
are
we're just
things,
at, a seat at the table, that's,
those are things that could be revisited potentially, so.
I think that'd be something of significance, and I think it would help probably solidify some of our teachers in the district that they're not having to do 7 continuous 1-year contracts.
I thought the state dictated those.
No, district does.
They just dictate the 7 years.
Just can't be more than. I have to look it up. It can't be more than a number of certain years though.
That's 3.
I think it's 3. 3 or 4.
Yeah, this is the first district I've worked in that's always given 1 years. So we always went 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, and then you were eligible for a continuing.
Administration can't be more than
The big difference between a 2-year contract and a continuing contract, they're not the same.
No,
That's the difference. And to delineate that, anyone who doesn't understand the difference, I guess, is important.
And do we offer classified, do we do the same thing with classified staff?
we
Classified is stated by law. You have to do 1, 2, 2, 2.
That's
And then they're,
what-
then they're,
Somebody said it was-
and then
Yeah.
they're continuing on that.
Okay.
Classified, not certified.
Yeah,
Yeah.
classified's determined by law.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
And I think the classified is 111,
122.
122.
It used to be 111, or 122, but then they added to 7, so
Yeah.
1222.
Okay, any further questions? Information from the superintendent,
I don't have any.
board reports. Comments from the board members?
I was gonna talk about the honor roll students from the CTC, but I was gonna say that for next week, actually,
Yeah.
because we really get a bigger audience for them.
Yeah, that'd be great. Trying to get that out on social media and stuff.
It's not well, it's definitely.
Absolutely.
It's a huge thing.
And Julie, I will touch base with my contact at District 7, Ohio Department of Transportation, and see if they've made any progress on it. 201 or 202 with the traffic studies, especially in lieu of the recent accidents. They may or may not, I don't know what the status is, but I'll at least reach out and at least have hopefully an update one way or the other.
I had one item, I don't know how this works since Jacob stepped out, but Chris Mills is unfortunately leaving us on the facilities committee. And I believe the process is that the board president wants to unappoint him. So as acting board president, I will unappoint Chris Mills from the facilities committee. So he's officially off.
I'd like to thank Mr. Mills for his service on the facilities committee. I thought he brought good insight and had some unique experiences that were a benefit to the committee. And I don't know what the board's next move is, if you guys want to keep the committee as is, or if you guys are interested in looking at an additional person to fill the spot. That's up to your guys' decision on the facilities committee.
I think it would be great to continue to get another community member for that community insight. And it helps with our view of transparency and getting ideology from others that aren't so ingrained in what we do every day. I think it's important. So we'll look at seeing how we can reach out to ask for volunteers.
Okay, any more comments from board members? That's what we were doing. Back to you.
I guess my last comment would be, just wanted to thank all our teachers and staff for all that they've been doing as we move through the second year of COVID. I know it's a trying time, and just appreciate every effort that they put into maintaining our ability to educate our students. Look forward to the end of this year and hopefully starting next year without masks. So that would be great. All right. I know we need an executive session, at least for item number 1. Would we need to also cover number 4 for preparations for conducting reviewing negotiations?
That'd be good.
Anything else anybody sees? All right. Based on the fact this is a work session, there's no intent for us to have a vote to occur after this executive session. We have a motion to go into executive session. Thank you, Lida. We have a second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Julie, for the second. Any further discussion? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Tracy, for being here with us as well and your insight. Ready to call the vote?
Ms. Mansell?
Yeah.
Ms. Reese?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Sebastian,
Yes.
Rita.
Yes. Time in executive session is 32 p.m.